What if I told you one of Hollywood's most beloved women, the hat-wearing, sharp-talking, Oscar-winning Diane Keaton, quietly built a fortune worth around $100 million? Not just from her legendary acting career, but from something far more surprising: real estate. For decades, fans saw her as the charming romantic from Annie Hall or the elegant mother in Father of the Bride. But behind that timeless style and witty humor, Diane was designing, restoring, and flipping some of California's most extraordinary homes and earning millions while doing it. Today, we're uncovering how this Hollywood icon turned her artistic eye into an empire, and why her story is one of the most unexpected success journeys in the entertainment world. Diane Keaton was never a typical Hollywood star. From her breakout in The Godfather to her Oscar-winning role in Annie Hall, she stood out, quirky, confident, and unapologetically herself. Her fashion choices became iconic. The bowler hats, oversized suits, and monochrome layers weren't costumes. They were her identity. Critics called her unpredictable, but audiences called her real. Across more than 50 films, Keaton became a box office powerhouse. Her projects grossed billions worldwide, from romantic comedies like Something's Gotta Give to family classics like Father of the Bride. She even voiced a character in Pixar's Finding Dory, which crossed the $1 billion mark globally, her most financially successful film ever. But while most stars chased bigger roles or brand deals, Diane quietly turned her attention elsewhere, toward design, architecture, and the art of transforming spaces. In the early 2000s, Diane began buying homes in California, not for luxury but for creativity. Friends say she treated every house like a blank canvas. Reports claim she would spend months, sometimes years, overseeing every detail herself, from the tiles to the lighting fixtures. She'd walk around with sketches and samples like a designer, not an actress, one close friend recalled in an interview. Her first major success came in 2002, when she bought a historic Spanish colonial estate, renovated it, and flipped it 3 years later for about $16.5 million. The profit was staggering, and it marked the birth of her second career. Within a few years, Diane wasn't just known for her movies anymore. She was now whispered about in real estate circles as one of Hollywood's smartest investors, an actress who could turn an old house into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Diane's approach to property was as methodical as her acting. She researched neighborhoods, studied architectural history, and never outsourced creativity. Every flip told a story. In free. Laguna Beach. She purchased a $7.5 million ocean view home, restored it with her signature mix of rustic wood, white interiors, and vintage accents, then sold it for $12.75 million. 2 years later, she bought a Pacific Palisades property for $5.6 million. After a stunning transformation, she sold it for $6.9 million. The margins might seem modest by celebrity standards, but her consistency made her profits add up fast. And in Tucson, Arizona, her $1.5 million renovation project became one of the most admired desert homes in the state, later listed for $2.6 million. Every sale proved the same thing. Diane didn't just have taste, she had timing. Her understanding of design trends, from Spanish Revival to mid-century modern, was always one step ahead of the market. In Abati Setin, Diane published her design book, The House That Pinterest Built. The title wasn't metaphorical, it was literal. She had designed her Brentwood dream home using inspiration saved entirely from Pinterest boards. The property became her masterpiece, a fusion of modern minimalism and rustic warmth, filled with reclaimed materials and sunlight. Photos of the house went viral across design magazines. Architectural Digest called it a masterclass in personality and proportion. But what most people didn't know was that this dream home would become one of her most valuable investments ever. Diane reportedly purchased the Brentwood estate for the $4.7 million in 2009. Over the years, as the neighborhood's luxury market exploded, the property's value soared, reaching an estimated $30 million by 2025. It wasn't just a home. It was a statement, a physical reflection of everything Diane Keaton represented: individuality, taste, and fearless creativity. While many celebrities launched fashion lines or liquor brands, Diane doubled down on her passion for architecture. She became a design author, a creative consultant, and a mentor to up-and-coming restorers. Her 2 books, House and The House That Pinterest Built, weren't just coffee table pieces. They were glimpses into how she viewed space, texture, and emotion. Real estate insiders often said her homes felt like movie sets you could live in. Every wall told a story. Every corner had intention, but she never bragged about her wealth. There were no lavish Instagram tours or media stunts. Instead, her fortune grew quietly, one house at a time. By 2025, various reports estimated her total net worth at around $100 million. Much of it tied to real estate rather than acting paychecks. Some analysts even suggested her property deals may have earned her more than 5 decades in Hollywood combined, though that remains unverified. In mid-2025, whispers began circulating online that Diane was preparing to sell her beloved Brentwood mansion. Fans were confused. Why would someone so attached to her designs part with her masterpiece? Reports hinted at possible health issues and estate planning. Some insiders suggested she wanted her properties handled privately before her passing. Others say it was simply another business move, a way to cash in on a booming Los Angeles housing market. Then came the shocking news. October 11th, 2025, Diane Keaton passed away in Los Angeles at age 79. The announcement left Hollywood heartbroken. Colleagues described her as a creative force who saw beauty in everything. Tributes poured in from every corner of the industry. Actors, designers, directors, and even real estate moguls who admired her discipline and originality. Her estate was said to include several California properties, along with publishing rights to her design books and royalties from her classic films. Even in death, Diane Keaton's influence continues to grow. Her renovation style, a blend of vintage charm, open light, and timeless simplicity, inspired countless homeowners. Interior designers now refer to her look as Keaton Classic, comfortable, character-driven, and deeply personal. Her properties remain highly sought after. Real estate agents say homes she touched tend to command higher prices simply because of her connection. But beyond the numbers, Diane's legacy is emotional. She showed that creativity doesn't fade with age, it evolves. That art isn't confined to the screen. It can live within bricks, beams, and open air. She once said in an interview, "Designing a house is like making a movie. You start with a story, and you end up living in it." And that's exactly what she did. She lived inside her art. Looking back, Diane Keaton's story is about more than fame or fortune. It's about reinvention. Few actors manage to stay relevant for 50 years. Fewer still build a second empire along the way. But Diane did, by trusting her instincts and ignoring Hollywood's expectations. From her first role to her final blueprint, she reminded the world that creativity doesn't have to follow one path. Her legacy now lives in 3 places: on film, on paper, and in the foundations of homes across California. And as those homes change hands and her films continue streaming, Diane's impact keeps expanding, proof that real artistry never really dies. So what made Diane Keaton so extraordinary? It wasn't just her talent or success. It was her vision, the ability to see potential in everything, whether a script, a structure, or a second chance. She showed that you don't have to choose between art and business. You can build both. Beautifully, Diane Keaton wasn't just a movie star. She was a designer of moments, a curator of life, and an architect of her own destiny. And that's why, even after her passing, her story still feels alive, built to last. Just like the homes she created,